All right, it is 5:15, so I'm going to go ahead and call the Board of City Commissioners together, and we will start with invocation and pledge with Chaplain Herr.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, and thank you again for the beauty of it and the sunshine. Thank you for the cool of the air, which declares the change of the seasons. And Lord, it shows us once again your power and your might. And it proves to us that we are not in control, but that there is one who does control every element and aspect of this world, including the seasons of which we have no control. And so, Lord, we thank you that we can come to you in prayer, and we ask that this evening, as these commissioners meet, as they debate and discuss, and as things are brought before them, Father, we pray that you would grant wisdom, that you would grant insight, that you would grant clarity of communication and conversation back and forth, that people are understood one to another as points are brought up and things are discussed, and even as decisions are made. Lord, we thank you that you've given us a beautiful city to live in. We thank you for our leadership. We thank you for these commissioners. We thank you for those who are serving us. And we specifically think of our first responders who are available to help and to rescue and to keep us safe from peril and tragedy. And so, Lord, would you bless them today? Would you watch over and protect them? Thank you for the service that they do. And might we, as the citizens of this great city, might we be thankful and mention it to them, grateful for their service that they give. Lord, now in these moments together, we say thank you again for being God and for giving us the opportunity to gather together and to govern ourselves. And we pray these things in the name of Jesus Christ, your Son, our Savior. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will go ahead and call roll.
Commissioner Risch?
Here.
Commissioner Zinker?
Here.
Commissioner Connolly?
Here.
Mayor Schmitz?
Here.
Chair Cleary?
Here. All right, first on the agenda is public comment. Just a reminder, public comment is restricted to items on the consent agenda, regular agenda, or the prior city commission agenda, excluding any public hearing items. I do ask that you please write down your name and address when you come up to the podium and state the item that you will be speaking on. First call for public comment. Second call for public comment. Third and final call for public comment. Public comment period is now closed. Item number 2 is the consent agenda. Commissioners, what are the wishes of the consent agenda?
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Commissioner Risch here. I'd like to pull item 6 off the agenda and discuss it just briefly. I think it's great news and the public should hear about it. That's the fire truck issue, 6.
Okay, that is item
Be D6, I believe.
D6. Okay, so we will go ahead and pull D6 for discussion. Anything else?
I'd move to approve the rest of the consent agenda, excluding item D6, and we'll come back to that.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, go ahead and call roll.
Commissioner Zinker?
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz?
Yes.
Commissioner Risch?
Yes.
Chair Cleary?
Yes. Okay, consent item D6 is the update on the sole source purchase of a 1926 Seagrave fire truck approved at the September 22nd, 2025 City Commission meeting in an executive session. Commissioner Risch, I will let you speak to that.
Yeah, I just, maybe Jason could come up and explain it in more detail. He's the expert, but it's, okay, but it's
He's
pretty
on his way.
exciting. Okay, but it's pretty exciting. I thought it'd be nice for the public to see about it. It's Bismarck's second fire truck, I understand. It seems to be in very good condition, and we were able to purchase it and preserve it. Go ahead, Jason.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Chair Cleary, Commissioner Risch. Yes, thank you for the opportunity to get to talk about this. What we're talking about here is a 1926 Seagrave fire truck that was originally purchased. It was ordered and purchased by the city of Bismarck. I believe we took delivery in early January of 1927, and this particular fire apparatus served in the Bismarck Fire Service for close to 4 decades. It was sold by the city in 1988 for what I can gather. We just simply didn't have a place to store it. At that time, we had 2 fire stations, and our public works facility was located on 9th Street across from the police station, which is now owned and operated by the Bismarck Public School District. We just simply ran out of room. And in 1988, the fire truck was sold at city auction, at a surplus auction, and it was purchased by a local couple, Jim and Jan Beck. Many people may know the Becks. They have affiliations with other wonderful things in the Bismarck-Mandan community, particularly Huff Hills and formerly the Fort Lincoln Trolley. Some friends of mine know that I'm a history enthusiast, and they are friends with the Beck family, and through conversation said, "Hey, Jason, how would you like to see an old Bismarck fire truck?" And without hesitation, I said, "Yes, where is it?" And the Becks were kind enough to basically let me and some others check this thing out. It was earlier this summer. It was stored here in Bismarck. Jim kept it active up until probably the last 3 years or so. Occasionally it was involved in 4th of July parades or parades over here in Bismarck. But for the last few years anyway, it had sat idle and in storage. And I was really excited to check it out. And as we were putting the tarp back on it and kind of buttoning it all up and getting ready to shut the garage door again, I smiled to Mr. Beck and I said, "If this thing is ever for sale," I said, "I'm asking on behalf of the city of Bismarck." I said, "If you would I would appreciate you letting me know." And he smiled and he said, "Well, it's for sale right now." And I said, "Give me a few weeks." I said, "I need to talk to some people." And then we had an executive session here, and I shared the information with the commissioners and went back and worked out a mutual agreement to purchase the fire truck back. And I'm glad to say that the transaction went very smooth. The Becks were very gracious that the city was going to reacquire this property. From the firefighters aspect, from the side of our fire department, in speaking with Fire Chief Joel Baseflug and some of the other staff over there, this has been a tremendous morale boost for our firefighters. This is it was really exciting to see all of them working together to get this thing out of the garage and onto the trailer and over to Public Works where it sits today. We transported it on trailer to Public Works where the mechanics will work through the working parts of the engine and making sure that it's safe to drive. From there, the plan is to store it temporarily at Fire Station 2, which is on Expressway Avenue. And I believe the firefighters or fire department personnel are working on putting glass panels in one of the garage bays. So as you drive by an expressway, you'll be able to look through that glass garage door and see the front of this truck. And then we're looking for all sorts of opportunities to share this thing with the community. As I mentioned, it's a 1926 model, and so next year will be its 100th birthday. It's a working fire truck. It has battle scars, it has patina, but it is also a wonderful piece of Bismarck history, and I'm so proud to be a part of this and, kind of bringing it home, as we might say. And I just want to say thanks to the commissioners for your unanimous support when I came to you and asked if we should do this. I think there was a race to see who could make the motion in the second because there was a lot of enthusiasm from this table too. So I'm glad to be a part of that. I'm glad for the fire department. I'm glad for Bismarck. I'm thankful for the Becks for taking care of it for all these years. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer those.
No questions, but I think we don't have a photo of it here tonight, but you had a photo of it at the executive meeting, and it's pictured in, I think, kind of a iconic Bismarck black and white photo that I think a lot of people that grew up in Bismarck would recognize, of the fire truck in downtown Bismarck with the Patterson behind it. I think the chief is on it. It's a very cool photo that I think has been repurposed a lot in Bismarck, so I think people will recognize it, which is also really cool.
Yep.
Madam Chair, actually on the consent agenda, you can click on the documents and there's a couple photos of it.
Oh, perfect. So you can go find it on the website.
And I know, if I may, Commissioners, our communications strategist, Kayla Ost, is working on a press release as well, and that was going to follow the action tonight. So we'll hopefully have some more opportunity to talk to local media about this and show some stories and some pictures of it as well, and we'll see what the future holds for the whole thing.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Okay, we will move on to the regular agenda.
so-
I'll make a motion
So
to
what-
approve item
Oh,
D6.
thank you.
And second, thank you, Commissioner Zinker.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, go ahead and call roll.
Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Risch,
Yes,
Commissioner Zinker,
Yes.
Chair Clary.
Yes. Okay, now we will move on to regular agenda. Item A is a public hearing on the application to transfer the Class D alcohol license from TBM Group LLC, Polar Package Place, and Lucky's Bar to Map Pack Properties LLC, Lucky's Bar Polar Package on 2176 East Thayer Avenue. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak on this agenda item, please come forward.
Hi, I'm Kevin Sheevey, Schivee. I do not understand why we would ever approve this. How can you let charitable gambling get to this state? We've got $1.2 billion going into charitable gambling. If you figure the numbers out, it's $1,500 for every man, woman, and child in this state that they would have to spend for them to make that kind of money. And where is this money going to go? To a rich man, a man that's selling 2 bars, and he's very wealthy with other interests. I don't understand where charitable gambling's going. This is not what the legislature intended when they brought in charitable gambling. That money should go to places. It should go to, if nothing else, out of our community, to St. Jude's or something like that, somewhere where it's needed. Nobody should be able to own a bar. And I don't think it's legal in the first place. An organization or closely related organization should be ineligible for a license or permit. This is in our code, our state code. A nonprofit, social, hobby, trade, business, professional, similarly club or association or organization. Primary purpose mainly provide a direct benefit to its officers or members is not a public-spirited organization eligible for a license. That's written. You guys should, actually I have papers for you. This is code, state code. How can we do this? a county, city, state, political subdivision, or federal entity is not eligible for a gaming license or permit. It's in the 246 pages. That's the first page I just gave you. If people do not read the whole 246 pages without letting this go, it's wrong. Our Attorney General should not let this go. Drew Wrigley has to approve it. He should read those 246 pages, and I couldn't get through it in the last few days. It's ominous. There's so many places this money could go. It should not be going to buy bars. And where, whose license is, or whose name is going on that alcohol license? I tried finding that out. I couldn't find it out. Actually, I can't find out if this deal even went down. It didn't. It wasn't in the Register of Deeds today. Where do the profits go? Do the profits from these bars now go to nonprofit? I'm tired of nonprofit. I don't even like the way Sanford's doing their business, buying up every lot in town just to maintain their status of a nonprofit organization. It's not right. It's basically building monopolies. Matt Pack owns Crystal's Bar in Lincoln. Now they're buying 2 more bars in Bismarck. Why do they have $7 million in their coffer? Why? That money should be spent. That money should be given away. It should go to some charity that it was intended for, not to buy a bar. And why are you people letting this go? I think you have the last say other than Drew Wrigley. Do the nonprofit own the buildings? Can you tell me that? Anybody? No. Who's on the board of these nonprofits? I mean, answers. We need answers before we let this thing go through. It's ridiculous.
For some clarification, and I think Julie might be able to answer a couple of your other questions too, but in the application process, they do have to, when you ask like who owns, who are the officers, who's on the board, that people are listed. There is redacted personal information, but they do list their officers and stuff.
And
so
whose name is on the?
I mean, it's all in their
Whose
documents.
name would be on the liquor license, which is sold
So-
by the city, correct?
No.
Where's the liquor license come from?
The liquor license, I mean, it's being transferred, so it's going from one entity to another in this case.
And you have control of how many liquor licenses there are in the city, correct?
I mean, yes, because there is a cap on the Class D liquor licenses, and they have to be approved.
I can't buy that liquor license. Most people can't. But when you put $1.2 million out there, and these nonprofits are spending that money like drunken sailors, that's not right. You can't go out and buy bars. I mean, why not give it to anybody? You can find things to give this money to rather than bars. There are people in need out there, you know.
Certainly.
Even a homeless, and I'm not a guy that likes homeless shelters. But if you got to spend $7 million on a homeless shelter, I'd say that's way better than putting it into buying a bar. And what are you going to do with all them profits? I mean, you're only going to make more money once you own the bar. I understand they can only have 10 machines in a bar. Is that correct? And in a certain place?
I know that there are limitations, yeah.
Now, is that going to change when you own the bar? You know, being you don't have to pay.
So
Now
all-
they don't have to pay for their machines.
All of those restrictions, I believe, are set by the state code, if I'm
Right.
remembering correctly.
In that
So
246
some of-
pages, yeah.
Yes, so some of this legality that I'm gonna ask Julie to answer a few of your questions as far as like, is it legal, that sort of stuff. A lot of that is, though we are the ones approving it, we're approving it based off of the state law. I know that some of this charitable gambling was of discussion at the state legislature, and questions were raised, I think, at the state level as to whether which organizations can own the entities. But I don't believe that that law has changed enough where at a local level we would be able to stop it from happening, because we have to follow the state law in these instances. But I'm going to let Julie speak to that because she knows the state law much more than I do.
Well,
So-
I'll just clarify. Thank you, Chair Cleary. MatPack LLC is a separate entity from the MatPack nonprofit. And MatPack LLC has apparently entered into an arrangement to buy these liquor licenses from the current holders. So it's a limited liability company that is purchasing these liquor licenses.
It's a way around. It's the 40% of the 60, you know, 40% can go for whatever, 60% has to go to charitable things. We did this all wrong somehow. I don't care if I have to go back to the legislature. I've spent a lot of time at the legislature. And I can get it, I will try to get it changed. And we will get this. I mean, when you got Vicky's and Mandan, Lonesome Dove on the Strip, all these now, and Crystals, and all being bought up by a non-profit, it's not right, guys. Come on. Think about it. This charity, it was meant for charity.
I certainly understand your frustrations. I'm just trying to explain,
I know,
like
I know. Now
legally,
you're bound
we
by
have to
law.
follow the state
Yeah.
law. I would suggest that if this is something that frustrates you and you want to see change, that change does have to happen at the legislature,
Right.
from my understanding. But I understand your frustration.
I do
Obviously,
not think this was the intent of the legislature. They probably wrote it up wrong in their 247 pages, 6 pages, whatever. Try
But-
read that once. Drew Wrigley has the say in this, and I wonder if he's read that, you know. I hope he's listening.
does anyone else have any questions for Kevin? Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak on the agenda item A, please come forward. Second call for public hearing. Go ahead.
First of all, thanks for letting me come up here and speak. I'm the MatPack board president here in Bismarck, and I just want to clarify a little bit of things that the gentleman said. Is that currently we don't own any bar in Lincoln. That's not our property. We don't own any bars as of right now. And just to clarify with her too, is that it is the MatPack Properties LLC that's in this project right now, and everything that we do is not taken out of our gaming money or our trust money, because that's regulated by the state. So this is all not bought by gaming money. So I just want to make sure that's clear on our part. And we got our lawyers involved. We went to the banks, and everything that we've done so far has been through legal through the state. And just want to make sure that everybody knows that we're doing the right thing.
Just for the record, you are Jason?
I'm Jason Huber, yes.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Jason?
Madam Chair, John here.
Go ahead.
Jason, so MatPac is a charitable organization, but MatPac also has an LLC, and this LLC is now proposing to purchase these two liquor establishments. Where does the LLC get its funding?
Yeah, the LLC was organized, I think, in 2022, about 4 years ago. That is stuff that from our state tournaments, that's from our registrations, that's from our other things that we do to help raise money for the organization. It's underneath the LLC, and that's where this business proposition is taking place, not underneath our regular MatPac.
So is the LLC a for-profit entity, and will both these liquor establishments, if they go through, remain under tax rolls?
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah, we're not leave. I didn't understand the question.
So I can probably address that, Chair
Go ahead, Mayor.
Clary. So any charitable organization or organization that is a charitable organization that owns another business that has what's called unrelated business income, that entity and that income is subject to income tax. Frankly, at the same rate or a higher rate than regular corporate tax is, state and federal.
Okay.
Thank you.
And property tax as well?
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
And I don't think the property's been purchased here, but
Because for clarification, Commissioner Risch, it's not the charitable organization that is purchasing the liquor license, it's the LLC. So they will still all be subject to all of the income taxes, et cetera, that may or may not apply to charitable organizations when you're talking about property taxes and stuff, so. Any other questions for Jason? Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Third call for public hearing on regular agenda item A. Anyone who wishes to speak, please come forward. Public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
move to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Commissioner Zenker.
Chair Cleary, Commissioner, so I just wanted to expand on a couple of things. 2 weeks ago at our meeting, that's one of the reasons why when I made the motion to approve the consent agenda to make sure we had public hearing on these two items. Two that I did contact local legislators, and one of them did contact the AG's office. Everything here that we're doing, because all we're doing is transferring a liquor license, does meet all state and city ordinances. The optics of it is what's concerning. And I was assured by one of the legislators that I talked to that they will be closing a couple loopholes in this to make sure that that both entities are, right, because MatPac has two entities, their nonprofit side of things and their LLC, that there is no funds that can quote-unquote cross that line, so.
Sure, okay.
So our simple business that we're doing tonight is transferring these liquor licenses.
Thank you, Commissioner Zenker. Yeah, I know that it was a topic at the legislature. I think it will continue to be a topic, but for our sake tonight, it really is just the liquor license transfer, so. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and call roll.
Commissioner Risch?
Yes.
Commissioner Zinker? Yes. Commissioner Connolly?
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz?
Yes,
Chair Cleary?
Yes. Item B, public hearing on an application to transfer the Class D alcohol license from TBM Group LLC, doing business as Main Bar and Package Store, to MatPac Properties LLC, doing business as Main Bar at 804 East Main Avenue. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak on this agenda item, please come forward. Second call for public hearing. Third and final call for the public hearing. Public hearing has now closed. What are the wishes of the commission?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Go ahead and call roll.
Commissioner Zinker,
Yes.
Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Rish,
Yes.
Chair Cleary.
Yes. Item C is a public hearing on revision to ordinance 6625, a revision of zoning map amendment from the A agricultural zoning district to RM20 and a PUD planned unit development in the area of Silver Ranch 5th Edition. Daniel.
Good
you have
evening, Chair
some stuff
Cleary.
for us first?
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, Chair Cleary. The Silver Ranch 18 LLP and Investcorp Incorporated are requesting this revision to zoning map amendment in the area of Silver Ranch 5th Edition. I say revision because you did approve this ordinance already, Ordinance 6625, in your July 8th, 2025 meeting. However, it was approved with a plat, and the plat for Silver Ranch 5th Edition is still in process of being recorded. In that meantime, the applicant noticed a few changes that they had wished to make to the PUD. Essentially, the setbacks, the front yard setbacks would be changed from 25 to 20 or 15 on corner lots, and then the lot widths would change a little bit from 55 feet to 50 feet. So those changes are reflected in the ordinance that you have before you this evening. And so the Planning Commission did hold another public hearing on these changes on September 24th, 2025, and they recommended approval. Staff also recommended approval. No comments or concerns were raised during that hearing. So based on these findings, the Planning and Zoning Commission does recommend approval of the revisions of this ordinance to the zoning map amendment for Silver Ranch 5th Edition. And I could attempt to answer any questions, or I think the applicant has a representative here as well.
Before the public hearing? Doesn't look like it. Thank you. So this is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak on item agenda number 6, please come forward.
Thank you, Chair Cleary. Landon Nyman with Swinson Hagen Engineering. Yeah, just as Daniel said, we just a couple of items that maybe we were not specific enough about on when we first came through the PUD that we noticed after the fact. Wanted to clarify those a little bit more before we move forward. But I can answer any questions if you have them.
Doesn't look like it. Thank you. Second call for public hearing. Third and final call for public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. What are the wishes of the commission?
Move to approve.
I'll move to approve as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Doesn't look like there's just further discussion. Go ahead and call roll.
Commissioner Conley,
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Rish,
Yes.
Commissioner Zinker,
Yes.
Chair Cleary.
Yes. Item D, public hearing on ordinance 6643, a zoning ordinance text amendment to sections 140203 and 140306 of the City Code of Ordinance to allow short-term rentals as a use of residential properties within the city limits and extraterritorial area.
Good
ahead.
evening, Chair and Commissioners. The Planning Department requests approval of a zoning ordinance text amendment to sections 14-02-03 and 14-03-06 of the City Code of Ordinances to allow short-term rentals as a use on residential properties. Just some background, the topic of short-term rentals was brought up through the current land development code process by members of the steering committee for that and was identified as a specific area of interest for members within the community. Due to this interest, staff thought it best to have a separate zoning ordinance text amendment for this self-contained topic rather than combining it with the full land development code. Staff did bring this to the Bismarck Planning and Zoning Commission on April 23rd, 2025, and asked for direction on this topic. The Bismarck Planning and Zoning Commission directed staff to prepare a zoning ordinance text amendment for short-term rentals. So the draft zoning ordinance text amendment includes a definition of short-term rentals. It notes that a residential appearance must be maintained for the property. It does include information for only having structures classified as permanent residential units. There's also noise and parking requirements noted there, as well as noting that requirements of the International Building Code should be met for this. So there were several areas that were reviewed when drafting the zoning ordinance text amendment. Short-term ordinances and regulations from peer communities. As you can see on the screen here, just some of our peer communities here, and it just provides information on which ones have current ordinances, which are currently in the process of reviewing them, or which ones do have an ordinance. And the ones that do have an ordinance, it's mainly our peer cities within South Dakota. And those have some various requirements related to permitting, the short-term rentals, as well as some additional requirements for providing state licensures. As part of that process to draft this ordinance, various zoning practice publications from the American Planning Association, as well as the National League of Cities, which highlighted common issues and best practices, were reviewed. Host information from common short-term rental platforms were reviewed by staff to determine what was currently required by hosts in our community from those entities. Tax requirements for short-term rentals were also reviewed. However, those are slightly beyond the purview of zoning, but there is information included in the staff report just to provide some information related to that. Short-term rental postings in Bismarck were reviewed as well, just to provide some reference as well to see how many are currently on these platforms that are currently operating within the community. And a stakeholder group, including representatives from the Bismarck Planning and Zoning Commission, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Chamber EDC, the Downtowners, short-term rental owners, as well as city staff from various departments, was created to help draft the ordinance. That group met twice between May and July to review the requirements from the peer communities and identify how short-term rentals function within Bismarck. Additional public engagement occurred for this. An online survey was promoted on the city's website. A copy of the report for that survey is included within your agenda packet. A notice for both the Planning and Zoning Commission public hearing as well as this public hearing tonight was published in the Bismarck Tribune on September 12th, 19th, as well as for tonight's meeting, October 17th and 24th. There were some additional comments that were received that were against short-term rentals, and that should have been provided to you prior to this meeting. There was several of them, I believe 4 or 5 of those from an individual, and those were included to you. So this request was evaluated according to standards contained within the comprehensive plan, code of ordinances, and state law. And as a result of the findings contained in the staff report, City of Bismarck staff find that the proposed zoning ordinance text amendment would not adversely impact the public health, safety, and general welfare. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the zoning ordinance text amendment to sections 14-02-03 and 14-03-06 to allow short-term rentals as a use on residential properties, as is noted in Ordinance 6643. Do you have questions for me?
Any questions for Lauren? Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak on Ordinance 6643, please come forward. Second call for public hearing. Third and final call for public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, what are your wishes?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
So motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I just want to thank Lauren and Planning and Zoning on their very thorough job on putting together this ordinance, and for the citizens of Bismarck who provided lots and lots of comments. When I was reading through all the comments, it kind of struck me, one struck me was the impact on affordable housing. So I had a nice discussion with Lauren yesterday about it, and the fact is, people could buy a smaller, older house, fix it up, and make it a short-time rental. Or they can buy it, fix it up, and make it a long-term rental. And I have a couple of friends that actually do that. So I don't know that it has a great impact on affordable housing, which is a subject I'm really concerned about. But I think they did a good job, and I think we need to pass this just to get something on the books.
Thank you, Commissioner Risch. Commissioner Connolly?
I've known people that having these options available was literally the crux that helped them maintain their homes during COVID when a lot of people were laid off and didn't have jobs. I know at least 2 people that actually rented out a portion of their home under the Airbnb, and that was the sole way that they were able to maintain their home and keep it in their possession. And then the job market, and then they moved away from that. But then now with the shutdown, I know some other people considering those options because it worked for them in the past. So.
Sure. Any other comments or discussion? Looks like we are ready for roll.
Mayor Schmitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Risch,
Yes.
Commissioner Zinker,
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Chair Cleary.
Yes. Item E, public hearing on ordinance 6645, a zoning map amendment from RM20 to RM20 residential zoning district to an RM20 residential and RM10 residential zoning district in the minor subdivision final plot of Silver Ranch, 3rd edition, 3rd replat.
Good evening again, Chair Cleary, Mayor Commissioners. So this is a request from Stoneshire Builders LLC for the zoning map amendment, a minor subdivision final plat, and there's also a private drive and utility agreement, which is attached to your agenda as well, which is part of the request. So three things in one. Essentially, what they're doing is they're taking one existing lot that was zoned or is zoned for multifamily development and dividing it into 13 individual lots. For the purpose of building a row home style development. There will be 2 to 3 units per building in this development, with a private drive accessing from Davies Drive in the north. So this is in the northeastern portion of the community in the Silver Ranch development, just north of 43rd Avenue Northeast on the east side of Silvernagle Drive. So the Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on these requests on September 24th. 2025, and then based on the findings of that hearing, they did recommend approval of the zoning map amendment from RM20 residential to the RM20 residential and R10 residential zoning districts. You can see in this map, they would retain the RM20 on the northern portion and go to R10 on the southern portion. And also the minor subdivision final plat of Silver Ranch 3rd edition 3rd replat. Staff also recommend approval of the attached private drive and private utility agreement. And this can all be done in one action if you so wish.
Any questions for Daniel? Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak on ordinance 6645, please come forward. Second call for public hearing. Third and final call for public hearing. What are the wishes of, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. What are the wishes of commission?
Move as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? With no discussion, go ahead and call roll.
Commissioner Risch,
Yes.
Commissioner Zinker,
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Mayor Schmitz,
Yes.
Chair Cleary.
Yes. Item F, consider the request to receive a presentation and proposed revisions to the utility capital charge process. Michael.
We'll see if technology is my friend today. It is. Yeah, well, that's the hardest part for me. Yeah, thanks. Mayor, Chair, Commissioners, I'm here to just talk to you about our utility capital charge policy. A few weeks ago, I brought it before you. We had some requests to revise it, to look into making some revisions of it. And so what I have tonight is a presentation just about what is our utility capital charge, what's it based off of today, and then to present some of the proposed changes that we have for you. So basically, what is utility capital charges? It's, we call them UCCs. It came into effect through the 2018 rate study, and it was implemented in February 1st of 2019. These changes cover expenses to expand the water and sewer infrastructure and facilities when adding capacity drawing from the system due to new infrastructure, new houses being built. There are 4 parts of what this utility capital charge covers, from water treatment to water conveyance, wastewater collection, and then the wastewater treatment. The charges are based on the flows or the amount of water that the water meter can use from the system. And so, for instance, a 3/4 inch meter can pull 30 gallons per minute, while a 2-inch meter for commercial properties uses about 160 gallons per minute. So UCCs were installed to help replace trunk line fees, which were based off of a square footage cost. These properties that were annexed then prior to the implementation of UCCs in 2019 were given a gifted vesting or given vesting, depending on how you want to look at it, and it was based off of their zoning. So, and under the UCC system today, when we have water sewer lines that need to be upsized within a new subdivision, the city participates in cost share for that. We are able to utilize the UCCs as a credit on the developer side to pay out down those upsizing. So how this gets triggered, there's 3 different options here. The major plat, so this is our new subdivisions. We collected at the later of three scenarios, whether it's platting or annexation, the exercising of a water sewer contract, or the receiving of street petitions. Minor plats are all collected at the time of platting and annexation. And then we have lot modification. These are our complex ones that we have. So basically, some of these, the property may already be annexed, just like you just had in the previous presentation. Streets are in and water sewer has already been put to that property. So when these modifications happen, we collect UCC prior to that lot modification being recorded. These are our tricky ones. The tracking of that's challenging. I'll explain a little bit more coming up here. So again, a little bit more about our current system. We collect them at the time of development. All residential properties become vested at a 3/4 inch meter size, and commercial properties are vested at a 2-inch meter size. Then, at the time that a building permit is being issued, we review to make sure that the UCCs have been paid, and the builder chooses the meter size that they want to have installed. This can result in the builder choosing a larger meter than what the vesting is, which they'll have to pay for the additional UCC. Or if they choose a smaller meter, which happens quite frequently on commercial properties, the city then would issue a refund based on those 2 meters. So, like I said, the lot modification, this is a lot split combination or replat. We then take that time to recalculate the UCCs that property needs to be charged. So the recalculation is essentially to ensure that the charges are fairly distributed across the newly configured lots. So the process can result in additional charges of UCCs or can also result in a refund depending on what process is being done. These lot modifications do become difficult to track because some of the properties may be properties that were replatted prior or platted prior to 2019. We have to then look at what was some of the replats, what were the lot modifications that took place. It's time consuming and it's dependent on how large or irregular the modifications might be. I do want to note that once a water meter is installed at the property, that UCC follows that water meter. So if a property splits and there's already a water meter on it, that one lot that has it retains its vesting. The new lot would have to pay a new UCC. So I'll use the previous example. They took one large lot and they split it into, let's just say 10. We would look at what was the original UCC paid on that one lot, and we would calculate what the new ones are. So when you want to understand our rates, these are rates for our UCCs for water and sewer. So a 3/4 inch meter is a typical meter size for a residential property. That cost is $4,637. Commercial properties will vary from 1 to 2 inches. We obviously go bigger depending on what they are. But as a reminder, when a platted property comes through, it's called a commercial property. We give it a vesting of 2 inches, a 2-inch meter. So if a developer comes in, wants to plat 10 residential properties, they'll have a UCC charge of $46,370. Same thing's true if there's 10 commercial lots or a combination thereof. You just take whatever these meter size and you multiply it by that. We do have some instances where some properties in Bismarck do not have the availability to connect to water and sewer. It's very rare that we have this, but in those instances, we only charge them for the UCC that's related to the utility that's servicing their properties. They will get charged an additional UCC whenever the city can bring those other services out. So I'll pause right now. If anybody has any questions on our current process, I'll take them. Otherwise, I'll jump into some of the proposed revisions.
Any questions for Michael? Doesn't sound like it.
Perfect.
Keep going.
So what have we been doing the last few weeks? We've met with the Bismarck-Mandan Home Builders Association, developers, home builders, to discuss potential changes to our policy. So what we've kind of all agreed on, well, what we have all agreed on, that the proposed UCC policy needs to really provide clarity and fairness in how we're treating parcels that have already paid in a UCC or were part of that trunk line fee. What we've done is we said we would like to keep these vested for 10 years from the date that our policy changes. After that 10-year period, any vacant parcels, any that paid a UCC would be refunded. However, any parcels that were platted prior to 2019 or were part of the trunk line fee would lose their vesting and they wouldn't be refunded. So some of the proposed changes that we're looking at include the collection time of the UCC from the time of development to when the building permit is being issued. This allows for the UCC to be charged based on the meter size selected at the time, ensuring that the charges are accurately based on the actual needs for that property. This will help to eliminate the city having to issue refunds or even collecting additional charges at that time. We do propose leaving the rates the same for the moment. We think that maintaining these rates for now will help with planning and budgeting for cities, builders, and property owners, because this is certainly a change of who's going to be paying those UCCs now. And additionally, what we want to do is to create a public-facing GIS map. This map will display what parcels are currently vested for, what their meter size is. We'll include on that map if they have a UCC vesting or if it was a gifted vesting because of trunk line fees. We think that this will help to be transparent with property owners, builders, that they can easily access a map that they can look at to see if their property will be charged for UCC when they pull a building permit. And so what we're trying to do with these processes is to streamline the process and enhance transparency with everybody that's involved. So last few things here. One thing that will stay the same is the city will continue to participate in water main upsizing. However, we do lose the ability to use the UCCs as a credit. So the utility funds would have to make sure that we're reserving some funds to participate in this. So we have a little bit of a risk that we're going to take on budget-wise. But we've had good working relationships with developers and staff that they're coming to the table early on enough to help us budget for that ahead of time. So one of the last things we talk about, these lot modifications, they're still going to exist. The city wants to just reserve the right to make a refund at any point during a lot modification. It's case dependent. Some of them get pretty complex, and it might just be easier to refund the UCC up front. And then if that happens, when those properties do pull a building permit, they would have to pay for their UCC at that time. Again, it goes back to any of those gifted vestings that were platted prior to 2019. They would not receive a refund on their UCCs. We're going to be aware of that as we do lot modifications. To be fair in that, we'll try to distribute it out. But a lot of times, those trunk line fees did not equal the same amount of what our UCC fees are today. And so that's why there typically isn't a refund associated with those. So what's our next steps? If you accept this tonight, we can draft up a revised policy to be brought back to the commission, hopefully in December here. We'll start working on creating a map, and our goal is to have an implementation date of January 1st. So with that, I can take any questions or direction from the commission.
Any questions for Michael?
Madam Chair?
Go ahead, Commissioner Risch.
Yeah, Michael, good presentation, well thought out. My only question is, there's not going to be any increases in the UCC fees. It was last updated in 2019, and now we're talking about an implementation of January 1st, 2026. Inflation has been quite robust in those last at least 5 years. What's the thought behind that?
Mayor, Commissioner, Chair, Commissioner Risch, right now the city utility operations is going through a master plan of our water and sewer system. And we'll have some better knowledge after we go through that of what are our future needs for expansion. Both our water plant and wastewater plant have already had their master plans completed. It's probably something we are going to look at in a few years when we look at rates as a whole, but we're trying to get through these master plans so that we have a good handle of what our system needs to be able to continue to support growth within Bismarck.
Any other questions for Michael?
Madam Chair, I want to thank Michael, and also I know Commissioner Zinker was a part of this. We both met with the stakeholders several times, along with Michael and other team members. So I think this has been pretty well thought out. And again, this has taken a bit of a burden, in my opinion, off of the lot purchases. So there's not carrying cost added on top of the UCC charge prior to the building permit being pulled, which could be 10 years after the lot maybe went online originally. So potentially doubling that cost to a buyer.
Absolutely. All right, I think, doesn't look like there's any other questions. So you're looking for direction.
It depends on what you want. Let's start with this. Do you want me to bring it back, the policy, at a consent agenda or a regular agenda? On consent, then I would ask for a motion tonight to proceed with these changes as presented.
I'll make a motion to have Michael proceed with changes with the policy adopted in the December meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So is that to be as a consent agenda item or as a regular agenda item?
Consent.
Okay, and I'm fine with that. I just wanted clarity.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion on top of that? Okay, go ahead and call roll.
Mayor Schmitz,
Yes.
Commissioner Risch,
Yes.
Commissioner Zinker,
Yes.
Commissioner Connolly,
Yes.
Chair Cleary.
Yes. Item G, consider the request to discuss the 2026 Citizen Academy Program.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Chair Cleary. It's almost November again. Time flies. It just seems like We just finished Citizens Academy last April, so we're here again because November is application period for Citizens Academy. This year will be the fifth, fifth season of Citizens Academy. We started our Citizen Academy program back in 2022. That first class had 12 citizens who joined and learned all about all the work that we do in the city. In 23 and through last year, we had 20 participants from individuals from across the city in various demographics, from college students or young adults all the way through individuals who are retired. A little explanation for those listening and in the audience as to what Citizen Academy is, if you're unfamiliar with it. It's really a class where we have organized all of our departments to do a presentation for the 14 city, or we actually have 17 city departments now. And it's an opportunity for those interested in municipal government or just curious of how things work in Bismarck. We've had several individuals who were very new to our community last year who were just curious, like what goes on in the city of Bismarck? How do we get all these services that we currently have? So, as I stated previously, we'll accept applications during the month of November. We will accept 20 individuals to participate in the course. It is 12 weeks long. It begins on January 8th, and it'll occur every Thursday evening for 12 weeks. So it's a little bit of a commitment. We strongly encourage those who do apply to make sure that they have the time, because there's a lot of material, and we want folks that are really engaged. I've been able to participate in all 5 seasons, the first 3 of which I was just presenting information as a city forester. And last year I got to go through the entire Citizen Academy for the first time. And I thought I knew a lot about the organization, but it was extremely fruitful for myself, who's been involved with the city for over 10 years now. So a little explanation as to what citizens can expect or participants can expect. For the first 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you. It's going to be pretty high level, talking to fiscal, admin, human resources, legal, municipal court, our IT department, and assessing. So there's a lot of base information that's going to be laid out those first 2 weeks. And then from there, we go and visit all the other departments around the city. So it's a lot of field trips. You get a lot of opportunities to ask questions, and from everything that I've observed, those that are involved really ask great questions, and a lot of times it's questions that aren't in the material that we prepare. So they're really detailed, and everybody learns from it. So it's a great opportunity for those that are interested in municipal government. I'll repeat it for the 3rd time, but it's also an opportunity for those who are interested in maybe getting involved in municipal government. And it's a segue into the next item, but there's lots of opportunities to serve our city through boards and commissions. And being a part of Citizens Academy gives you a good base or foundational knowledge to begin serving our community. And Commissioner Risch participated in season 1, and look at him now. He's city commissioner. So Caitlin, I believe, is going to post on Friday, sometime Friday in the afternoon. So the application period will be open at that point, and I will stand for any questions you may have regarding Citizen Academy.
Any questions for Doug? I would just encourage anyone that's even remotely interested to consider doing it. I think it's super valuable. I think from the city perspective, I try to attend some of my portfolios every year, and it's really great to highlight just how amazing our staff is too. I think it's fun for citizens to get to see how hard our team works at the city. So it's always been a highlight for me. So if you're interested, I would definitely encourage you to try it this year.
Thank you for mentioning that portion. Our staff does a fantastic job of showing the passion that they have for the work that they do. And oftentimes they don't get a lot of appreciation and acknowledgement for that, but we have some really talented and knowledgeable and passionate individuals that serve our community, and they really are able to show that during those presentations.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Risch.
Yeah, thanks, Doug, for carrying this on, and thanks, Jason, for the guy that really made this thing happen to begin with. As Doug mentioned, I was in the first academy, and I was just amazed at the complexity of the city and the talent of our city employees. So I'd encourage anybody out there in TV land that is watching this to apply for this, and it's an eye opener.
Thanks, Commissioner Risch. Anything else for Doug?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm assuming you're staying up there?
I will.
Okay. Item H, consider the request to receive information regarding the expiration of terms and application periods for boards, commissions, and committees serving the city of Bismarck.
All right. Thank you, Chair Cleary. During the month of November, the city of Bismarck will be accepting applications from individuals looking to serve our community. There are 10 boards, committees, or commissions that support local government operations in the city of Bismarck and have vacancies that can be filled by any interested residents. On the memo, it says 9. We added a new board, which I will elaborate on. I'm going to read these to you and with the number of vacancies that we have. So first board is the Animal Advisory Board. We'll have 4 vacancies. The Human Relations Committee with 2. Vision Fund 1. Forestry Advisory Board will have 2. The Renaissance Zone Authority will have 2. Planning and Zoning Commission will have 3 city representatives. The Board of Adjustment will have 2. The Historic Preservation Commission will have 2. Bismarck Parking Authority will have 2. And the new committee is the Community Advisory Committee, and there will be 8 positions open. There is a lot of explanation as to what each of these boards are on our city's website, where you will find the applications. To elaborate on what the Community Development Advisory Committee is, this group is led by staff from the Bismarck Community Development Department and makes recommendations on applications, requests for federal grant funds allocated by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. There will be 8 members that will serve on this committee, and there will be 3-year terms. And I'm sure the details of how that's going to be staggered is going to be worked out over the next few weeks. So if you have any questions, I'd stand for any questions. This is a great opportunity for past Citizens Academy graduates to get their foot in the door. I'm going to keep pushing that Citizen Academy for the next month. So any questions you might have?
Any questions for Doug about the board appointments? I don't think so. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to other business. Anyone have other business?
Madam Chair?
Go ahead, Commissioner Risch. I have a feeling you and I will probably want to talk about the same thing, so I'll let you do it.
Well, I think you should go first, being
Oh,
in your
okay.
portfolio.
Okay, well, I guess I just wanted to mention that it is Dimitri's last commission meeting as our Director of Finance. Come on up so that I can embarrass you. Just kidding, I won't do that. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you. I think you were one of the first city employees that I met with when I decided to run for city commission, and I have just enjoyed my time with you immensely. I think you have been a huge asset to the city, to myself personally. Jumping into the finance portfolio is not something I do for a living or have what I would consider a great understanding of, and I've learned so much from you, and I think that your staff would say the same. I think you've been a great leader for our organization, and I just wanted to thank you for the time you've invested in it.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
Commissioner. If I may say a few words, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to say I do have a PowerPoint tonight. It might take another hour. You just lay back, Commissioner Zink. You lay back there. No, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to and blessed to have been given this amazing opportunity to serve the city, the commissioners, and the community over the last over 6 years now. I learned a lot. I learned about finance. I learned about budgets. I learned about politics, teamwork. I did learn that cows do not come home to roost, but rather chickens do. I did learn that. I truly enjoy working with all of the city staff, and I had the pleasure of managing fiscal services, assessing, and IT. I learned a lot more than I thought I would ever. These are very talented and amazing individuals. During my time, we achieved many goals because of their talent, dedication, and hard work. My successor, whoever it may be, will be very fortunate to work with such amazing people. I work closely with all city staff. These people are extremely talented, as Doug mentioned. They're dedicated, they're passionate, they work tremendously hard and to serve this community. year-round, whether it's, rain or shine. I honestly can call these people my friends. I've made a lot of relationships in this city, including you commissioners. It's been truly a pleasure and an honor. And I want to thank the current and former commissioners that hired me and worked with me throughout all this time and put up with me. I want to thank former Administrator Hunke, Administrator Tomanek, Assistant Administrator Wiles, all department directors and their staff that have put up with me and all my no's and yeses and whatever else I threw at them. You have some great leadership here. You really do, truly do. And you've done a great job hiring the people that you have. And so I'm sad to leave. I really appreciate the trust you've given me with the city's finances. I know sometimes it can be a very controversial subject, but I really appreciate the trust and the honor you've given me of serving you in that way. I will continue to live in Bismarck. I'm not going anywhere. I will continue to fully support the city and pay my taxes, whatever they may be, to serve the citizens, to receive the services that I get. I really like the services that we receive as citizens, and I'm unlike I am very much a citizen of Bismarck and will continue to be. I will truly miss everyone, and thank you all for putting up with me and giving me the opportunity. It's been a privilege, an honor, and a blessing. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Irish.
Yeah, thank you for your service, Dimitri. I consider you a financial rock star, and I just wish you all the best in this next chapter of your life. You've been a great asset to our city. You've developed and cultivated and mentored an excellent staff and will continue to benefit from that, but wishing you all the best, Dimitri.
Thank you, Commissioner Risch. Is there any other business? All right, we are adjourned.